Well, greetings and salutations, and welcome once again to the Newsman Weekly Podcast. Lucky episode number 67, a very special pre-election edition of the show. More on that in just a moment. I am joined again today by Zac Heiser, the executive producer of the Newsman Weekly, and also Hayden Gray, the show's official videographer, for at least one more hour.
Week. Oh?
Yeah, we're shortening that up because we're in a grumpy mood.
No,
Good morning, gentlemen. What fresh hell awaits us this week? That's all I need to know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a great week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know when we're going to get that fall weather,
Yeah.
but I'm ready for some pumpkin spice beverages.
God, stop.
Relax has got a nice
Knew you'd
fall
like
menu
that
over there, so I just thought I'd shout that out. They've got
What's on it?
caramel apple pop. I took a picture of it. Pumpkin pie latte, Carl.
Can you hold that up to the camera?
Is that better?
So the
Cocoa
camera can see it?
moco. Pumpkin spice
We are
latte.
kind of an audio and visual show, and you looking at your phone without the audience being able to see it is kind
We
of
can superimpose it, Carl.
okay, good.
A drink called Sweater Weather.
Ooh.
Sweater weather.
Mhm.
How about just good old black coffee with a little cream?
They'll have that
maybe
too.
mixed in?
They'll have that too.
All right, so guys, how was your weekend in Heiser? Holy shit.
I know.
Did I see, first of all, the Indians clinched a
Yes.
baseball
Yes,
playoff
they
spot
did.
with a walk-off hit by pitch with 2 outs in the ninth
They
inning
did.
on Saturday, only in Cleveland.
Uh-huh.
And then yesterday,
Uh-huh.
won the division, and Major League Baseball said, you know what, guys, here's your reward.
Yeah.
Screw you. You get to play your playoff games at 1 o'clock in the
Right.
afternoon. What the hell is going on?
I don't know, but what a Guardians way to end that season. And I said a couple weeks ago on the show, and Hayden, I'm not going to make you roll the tape or anything, but I did want to talk about the Guardians, and I was mocked.
Oh, when there's a need to roll tape, we'll roll tape.
I think
Yeah,
they
you're good
were
this week.
8,
Yeah.
9, 10 games out, and they did it. The greatest comeback in Major League Baseball history. And, yeah, as a reward, you beat the Tigers 5 out of the 6 last games. Oh, you're just going to have to play the Tigers again.
Well, that I understand. That's seeding.
Sure, seeding.
Nothing you can do about that.
And then, we're going to do it in the middle of the week, in the middle of the workday, just so everybody can guarantee a chance to watch it or go to the game. The games are at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and if necessary on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a playoff schedule like that since I was in grade school, when there were really no night baseball playoff games. You went home in the afternoon,
Right,
ran
they
home
didn't have
after
lights.
school. Yeah, you ran home. We had lights, but you ran home after school, so maybe you could catch the last half of the game. But this is what expansion gets you with 18 teams in the playoffs. Maybe not quite 18,
12,
but 12. You have 12 teams in the playoffs. You can't show every game at night.
You
but-
can.
No, you can't. Not really. You're not.
We're just talking about it. Just show them. No one cares about your own team in the first round. Like he said, no Yankees fans are going, I got to watch the Guardians Tigers.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just seemed like a wild weekend, and then 1 o'clock. So I assume we won't see much of you Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons.
I might be working from home.
A little
but
PTO.
I'll be pretty busy.
Yeah.
I'll be focusing in on the mobile app and some other exciting things we have coming at Richland Source.
Yeah, several online meetings you'll need to participate in.
Yeah.
All right. Hayden, how the hell did you manage to stay out of trouble this weekend?
Well, I started it off, I don't know if you count it the weekend, but I want to say, I got to go to a football game outside of Richland County. I went to Hillsdale High School Friday night, and I haven't been there in a couple years, and it's actually a really nice place to take in a game. You got a good view of the countryside. So I wasn't doing too much craziness Friday night. Don't worry about me, Carl.
Look at that. He's out spectating in the Ashland County rural areas.
You should rank the
That'd be fun at
local
some
high
point.
school football stadiums.
Well, no, it wouldn't be a fair ranking because no matter where it is, it starts with Shelby.
Shelby number
that's not
1.
true.
Shelby number 1.
That's not true.
And
Plymouth.
you know what? You know what number 2 is?
Plymouth.
Skiles Field, where they used to play in
right.
Shelby.
That's not true.
And number 3 would be wherever they played at before Skiles Field.
I don't know. There is a place, but no.
So who'd Hillsdale beat?
Smithville.
That was a battle of unbeatens.
It was.
5-0 against 5-0.
It was.
Yeah.
It was another homecoming night, but no. Saturday on a loaded college football slate, I was a participant in one of my best friend's weddings, so I really didn't get to take a whole lot of that in. Thank you for that, best friend. But
Yeah, you can't. You got to be careful with those fall weddings.
I gave him a little bit of flack in the morning.
But
Went from
then the nice thing is you were promptly and properly hung over on Sunday morning when you got up to watch your Steelers play in Ireland.
Oh, yeah. I was ready to go. I honestly, as sick as it sounds, I honestly think that the Steelers need to play every home game in Dublin at 9:30 in the morning the rest of the year. Because that's the best they've played.
Move the Steelers to Dublin. I'm fine with that.
Their fourth string quarterback who got mugged.
He would disagree. That's all right.
How does that even happen? He's not even going to play. He's on like the injured list. Why do they even take him? He's not going to play.
That's true. I don't know. Well, because it's an international experience, I guess.
I guess he got an international experience.
He did. He doesn't want to return.
He got mugged, yeah.
So he got, quote, robbed and mugged. That's
he got assaulted, robbed.
Oh,
yeah. Welcome to Dublin.
Yeah, they didn't. Too many pints of Guinness for whoever did that, I guess.
All right, gentlemen. It's time officially for NFL Week 4 overreactions. What did you see, and how did it make you feel inside? And Heiser, will start with you because I know, there's many. The NFL is such a week-to-week league.
Sure.
There's really no telling what's going to happen. Anybody can beat anybody. But your Browns are coming. They were on a one-game win streak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a scheduled bye week for me.
Was it?
Yeah, I was like, are the Browns on today? I don't know. Yeah. I don't care. I'm not tuning in. It was Guardians. I went to a baby shower, a co-ed baby shower, and I watched my kid play soccer. So I didn't watch. I don't know. It was a bye week. Did they win or did they? No.
First drive, they looked good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
they actually were
I
ahead.
did see
7-0.
Judkins had a touchdown. Yeah. So that's exciting. Flacco needs to get the hell out of here. I mean, if he's not going to play well, what are we doing? Why do we draft 2 quarterbacks just to have them sit behind Joe Flacco, who throws 2 interceptions?
Hayden?
Okay, I'll get mine out of the way.
Get yours out of the way. Here we come. Steelers to the Super Bowl.
We won't go Super Bowl, but maybe I don't.
Because that's a really crap division.
Win the division.
I don't know if I'm ready to over. I might be ready to just
Browns
make that the
1-3, Ravens 1-3.
But we haven't played any division
after tonight.
games.
Bengals 1-3.
Yeah.
Have the Bengals won? Are they going to be 0-4?
No, they've won 2 games.
They're 2-2.
They're the luckiest. They're terrible.
All right.
So let's just say we're winning the division. That's my overreaction.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay, that's good. My overreaction for my beloved Packers is I went to bed. It was 23-20 in the third quarter. I said, I got to get up early in the morning. I'm frustrated. Should have been 14-0 in the second quarter. I had just scored another easy touchdown. And for the second week in a row, we get a kick blocked. But this time, not only do they get the extra point kick blocked, Dallas runs it back and scores to make it 13-2. And I'm thinking to myself, that's odd. So then we turn the ball over. We punt, and Dallas goes down to scores. So now it's 13-9. And rather than just say, you know what, things aren't going so well, let's run the clock out, we screw around. Jordan Love gets stripped of the ball. Dallas scores again. So now we're behind 16-13 at halftime. And I said, you know what, I've just about done enough. With it. And I'm glad I did, because if I would have stayed up to watch a 40-40 overtime tie with what's supposed to be one of the best defenses in the NFL, and I'm not talking about Dallas. No, baby, no. I wouldn't be here because I'd have been drinking the rest of the night. That's my overreaction. Bring me a bottle of Mad Dog, grape or apple, I don't care. Let's just get it done. That's what would have happened.
Yeah, ties are ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no room for that in the sport. They already shortened the overtime.
Right,
why don't they just do
10 minutes.
It like college overtime?
Yeah.
Or why don't they just
have you seen a 7 or 8
do a field goal
overtime
kicking contest or something?
Don't even get me started on field goals in the NFL. It is ridiculous what they're doing.
Yeah.
If they don't figure that out and put a crossbar across the top and give those guys a box that the ball has to go through,
it's too easy now.
It is. I mean, these guys 60. There was a 65-yard field goal yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard 55's the new 50, and that's pretty accurate.
If the ball in the kickoff goes in the end zone, you get it on the 35. You get a first down, you're in field goal range.
Stuff's
right.
This is the NFL's gotten soft.
Yeah.
It's gotten weak. I need to go back. I'm going back to the 70s. I need to go watch Jack Tatum rip somebody's head off. I need to see Mean Joe Green.
You don't even have to go back that far. You can go back to the early 2000s and some of those Ravens defenses. And
James Harrison.
It was a different game then.
So that's my biggest overreaction. The NFL sucks.
Yeah, we hate the NFL.
All right, good. Hey, in a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Matt Finfgeld and Jane Zimmermann, the leaders of the Richland County Board of Elections, hence the mention a few minutes ago of the pre-election. Election Day, believe it or not, is just 5 weeks away, and I'm already feeling the buzz as we get ready for November 4th.
I wish you weren't.
Richland Source, Ashland Source, and Knox Pages are all going to do some deep dives into candidates and issues over the next few weeks. And there's no better time than now to bring in our local bipartisan elections team to talk all things election. Matt and Jane will help get us up to speed in just a few minutes. First, folks, we couldn't do one episode of this show, much less 67, without all of you. Thanks again for joining us for your weekly recharge of news, information, and faux entertainment. We are grateful so many of you come to us every week. We couldn't do it without your support, so please subscribe, give it a great rating. Once you've done that, unsubscribe, resubscribe, give it another great rating. Do that continuously throughout your day.
I hope there's people that listen to this that don't follow sports at all, and this is the only sports news they get when we talk sports.
I got to tell you, when I invited Matt and Jane to be on the show, Matt said, well, can I just come in for the first 15 minutes because that's the best part of the show?
All right.
So there are fans of what we call banter.
Okay.
I also want to know if there's anyone who's done the subscribe, and then undoing those actions. Let us know if you
other than me.
Let us know. Talk to us.
Yeah. Hey, many thanks to local country singer Luke Watson for creating this show's theme song, Smoke and Drink. Thanks also to the great folks at Relax It's Just Coffee for sponsoring this show, being such a great partner to the Newsman Weekly, and also providing weekly great coffee. Every day just starts better with great coffee, and our friend Paul Kimmerling and his baristas at Relax simply have the best in town at 105 North Main Street in downtown Mansfield. You can get there. Maybe just come in off of Walnut Street.
Did you see his update? The update video from
I
Paul?
saw.
You can drive up the big road if you want.
Paul did a great video, but I got to tell you what, those of you who hate
avoid that.
the construction issues in downtown Mansfield, stay the hell away from Hanley Road and Route 13.
Oh, boy.
And that's got nothing to do with the city of Mansfield. That is the Ohio Department of Transportation. I swear to God, every damn morning and night, it's lane roulette. When those guys leave at the end of the night, I think they toss a coin and say, how could we change the lane flow to screw people more tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, every day it's something different down there. It's just no, don't even get me started on what they're doing at Hanley Road and 13. And that has nothing to do with the city of Mansfield. So those of you on Facebook complaining about cones on 13, nothing to do with the city, everything to do with the Ohio Department of Transportation and the idiots who change those lane flows every damn night. Okay, I'm done with that.
You might have to clip that, Hayden.
Yeah.
Clip.
Tag ODOT.
That was a good rant.
ODOT's
ODOT's on our shit list, and so is the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
And so is Rob Manfred, or whatever his name is, for putting baseball playoff games on at 1 p.m.
You know what, Hayden, start making a real list. We're going to call it the Newsman Weekly Shit List.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
a good segment.
Get a legal pad. A little pad's not going to do it. A sticky note's not going to cover it. We need a legal pad.
And we're not going to punch down. We're only going to punch up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we might punch down once in a while.
Well, just to Hayden.
I mean, 'cause, yeah. Hey, before we bring in Matt and Jane, let's take a look at some recent local news. After all, the word news does appear in this show's title. Multiple shots were fired early Saturday morning in the municipal parking lot in downtown Mansfield, according to police. Police Chief Jason Bauman said Saturday morning no one was shot during the incident, which occurred around 1 a.m. Multiple shell casings were recovered from the parking lot at the corner of 4th and Main. There was some crime scene tape around there as officers investigated. The chief said the shooting had nothing to do with the Final Friday event in the nearby Brickyard, which wrapped up at 10:30 p.m., 2.5 hours before the shots were fired. People in the lot hit the deck when the shots rang out. That led police to initially fear multiple people had been shot. Thankfully, nobody was injured in the incident. Police were given the description of a suspect fleeing on foot, but no arrests were made. That's what I know about that one.
So someone's out there that they didn't catch the person that is just shooting into crowds.
As of Saturday morning when I was talking to the police chief, no. I don't know if they were actually, one of the things he speculated is they were shooting in the air, but then I saw reports that there were bullet holes in a couple of cars and in a building.
Lovely.
One thing I know about if you shoot up in the air, the bullet does come down.
Yeah. Yep.
So it could hit a car even if you shot it into the air. But here's the thing. Nothing good happens after midnight.
Nope.
Old football coach told me that a long time ago. Now that I'm 64, nothing good happens after 9 o'clock. So just go home.
Yeah.
Friday, final Friday events over at 10:30. Go home.
Yeah. You've enjoyed it.
Don't hang out in a municipal parking lot at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night.
I don't know.
Nothing good's going to happen.
Nothing good's going to happen, but I don't know. I've been in a situation where you hear gunshots in a public space and everybody's running and panicking, and it's a scary thing these days.
Yeah, I've not. I don't intend to, so knock on wood. All right, enough about the Friday night,
guns.
Saturday morning tomfoolery. Speaking of things, hundreds of fight fans crammed into the Ontario Centre on Saturday night, and they didn't leave disappointed, according to sports reporter Kurt Conrad. They were all there for a fight night, Fight Night 22 by BCM Productions, a card that featured 13 bouts inside the former Richland Mall. Fittingly, the event was informally dubbed the Brawl at the Mall.
That's a great name.
Fitting.
Kurt covered the event, so check out Richland's source for his story and a lot of photos. One of the night's highlights for Kurt came when former Lucas High School football star Mason Galco stopped Nathaniel Jackson in the third and final round with a series of strikes that ended the match 24 seconds into the third round.
Now, is this like a UFC style, or was this
It
boxing,
looked like
or what?
pictures I saw. It was not boxing; it was more of an octagon.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, mixed martial arts. I don't know what qualify. What do you have to do to be qualified as a mixed martial artist these days? But I guess it's like boxing and wrestling.
Hey,
Two
I
things
guess
together.
another great venue. If you have a bad injury, you're right by a Vita.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, Hayden once again finds the silver lining in an otherwise wonderful cloud. So assuming injuries. Thank you, Hayden.
That's why they pay me to be here.
Richland, we pay you to be here. Hey, Richland Public Health on Friday unveiled a new free vending machine outside its doors at 555 Lexington Avenue. But no, it's not for chips and soda. The machine is stocked with the kinds of things folks might need after pharmacies and convenience stores are closed for the night. Health Commissioner Julie Chea said the machine was paid for with funds from a regional harm reduction grant, not local tax dollars. Stocked items include pregnancy tests, first aid kits, tampons, menstrual pads, hand sanitizer, travel-size shower gel, shampoo and conditioner, tick removal kits, COVID-19 and flu tests, and packages that have toothbrushes, toothpaste, and floss. I will tell you, a tick removal kit when I was a kid was my dad's cigarette.
Is that what's in the vending machine?
If we like been out in the woods, hunting and doing that kind of stuff, and you come back in and you find a tick that's kind of embedded in your arm, he'd light his cigarette, get that end glowing red, and he'd just touch it down on your arm. Makes that tick
All
give
to the
up right away.
surface, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you might get burned too, but the tick's gone.
What kind of cigarettes did your dad smoke?
Anything but
No filter.
No filters. Oh my God, no, that was not him. The vending machine also
Back
includes
to healthiness.
potentially life-saving items like Narcan, fentanyl test strips, and doTERRA package, which allow for safe disposal of medication. The vending machine is climate-controlled, so products like Narcan will remain effective throughout the changing seasons. The machine is easy to use and available 24/7, according to Chea. She says everybody should have access to these sorts of things, and not everybody's got the financial means to afford some of these things. So there you go. If you're looking for that stuff late at night, stop by Richland Public Health at 555 Lexington Avenue.
Now this is government action in work. I know we like to criticize the government sometimes, but this is great. This is a great idea. I love it.
Government does this very well. It does not do,
A lot of
especially the
things.
Ohio Department
Yeah.
of Transportation down at 13 and Hanley Road. I wouldn't even mind the work that's going on 13. I can live with that. But that Hanley Road intersection, you guys better get that shit figured out. There's going to be more and more accidents because every day all you see are brake lights, confused drivers. I drove through there this morning before the sun was up, and it's like playing Russian roulette with your car.
I'm glad I don't have to commute that way anymore.
You have a lot of times I don't.
Yeah.
I'll either come through town or I'll come up Main Street and stay off of
You
30.
just wanted to get yourself fired up this morning.
I did. I saw the lights and I said, you know what?
Hey,
This
I'm
is
gonna
like
drive into it.
This is like running the
I
rapids.
said, you're on today.
I am running the rapids with a canoe and it's got a leak in it. Let's go. And that's exactly what it felt like.
Anyway, kudos to Richland Public Health.
Yes, Richland Public Health. Kudos. But that's enough for now. Let's take a quick break. I've got to go walk outside and take a break and calm down. When we come back, we'll be joined by Matt Finfgeld and Jane Zimmermann, our bipartisan leaders from the Richland County Board of Elections. Please stay with us. Well, welcome back to the Newsman Weekly. Joining us now, as promised, is Matt Finfgeld and Jane Zimmermann from the Richland County Board of Elections, making a repeat appearance on the show, which makes them official friends of the show. Unlike the Ohio Department of Transportation, as which we've discussed, can never be a friend of this show. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for getting up so damned early.
Good morning.
Good morning, Carl, and we're honored to be official friends of the show.
There you go. You know what? Take that over to Relax along with a couple of dollars, and they will give you a cup of this wonderful Relax. It's just coffee. That's how much being a friend of the show is actually valued in this economic society that we call the United States. All right. We got a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive in. For those who don't know it, Ohio is blessed to have a bipartisan election system. All 88 counties have election boards that are governed by Republicans and Democrats, a like number. I believe that's correct. Each board also has 2 directors, I believe, 1 Republican, 1 Democrat. Given the division we see nationally and even down in Columbus sometimes, how do we keep local elections on such an even kind of bipartisan keel that we see here in Richland County? And I ask this with 1 Republican, Jane, and 1 Democrat, Matt, sitting at the same table and not actually trying to claw each other's eyes out. How does this work?
That's correct, Carl. So in Ohio, Ohio is very fortunate that they are the gold standard in elections, and the biggest reason is because of the bipartisanship. Like you said, it's always a Democrat and Republican. Everything we do at the Board of Elections is always a Democrat and Republican, hence why you have both of us here today. Even if we go speak to someone, we always go in a pair. So that, that's what makes it work. We leave politics at the door. You can walk in our office and I'll guarantee you probably won't know who's Democrat and Republican, and that's the way it should be. We have a 4-member board that is bipartisan, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. Bill Freytag is the chairman of the board. He's a Republican. Therefore, the director has to be opposite party. And I'm director with James Zimmerman being deputy director. There isn't a decision that I make or Jane makes that the other doesn't know about. We always talk about everything. Every decision is agreed upon, and that's how it should operate.
We're here to do the same thing. We have the same goal. We're here to serve the voters and to conduct a fair and accurate election. Despite differences in the parties, like Matt said, we do leave our party hats at the door, and we just work to conduct the election the best we can.
Now, when you say Ohio is the gold standard, Matt, you said, are there other states that are like, maybe you don't know, but like, is this a unique thing to Ohio that it's so bipartisan, or?
I'm not saying we're the only state that is bipartisan, but it's more than just that makes Ohio the gold standard. The security behind elections, the cybersecurity, the audits that we do after every election. We do a post-election audit where we actually unroll the tape out of the machines and hand count 3 races, bipartisan teams, either Democrats looking at the tape or Democrats writing it down, vice versa, Republicans sitting across from them. And we, hand count at least 5%, almost 10% a lot of times every election. So there's multiple things that go into, I feel, that makes Ohio a gold standard state.
One of the other things is every piece of equipment, voting equipment, be it the tabulation machines, the electronic poll books, everything's put through a rigorous test and certified to be used in Ohio. You can't just bring in a piece of equipment and throw it out on, have somebody buy it and put it in the field. It has to pass Secretary of State standards. They have a certain board that does the examination of all the machines, and before we can even use anything, it has to be certified.
And just to double check and make sure, and I say this tongue in cheek, there's no internet connection.
That's correct.
So
contrary to what you might have heard, there is no internet connection on the voting machines, nor is there an internet connection when we're tabulating the votes. When we're tabulating the votes, that's segregated. It's all connected just within itself. It's not connected to the internet. For us to even get the results to the website or to the Secretary of State, we have to take them on a thumb drive from that back tabulation and then take them either to the Secretary of State's computer or out to our main office to get it on the website. So, yeah, nothing is hooked up to the internet. And another thing I want to touch on a little bit is, the testing of equipment. Jane kind of touched on it a little bit, but every piece of equipment that we use, every election is tested. Every voting machine, every poll pad that you check in with, the tabulation to make sure it's tabulating correctly. We just got done with testing our 400 voting machines, setting every one of them up. That takes about a week, and then we have about 15 to 20 seasonal employees that come in and help us. So it's a very rigorous testing that everything goes through every election to make sure it's working properly.
Now, one of the things that I think makes Ohio work well on election night is, unlike some other states, and I think Pennsylvania is one of them, in Pennsylvania, they don't open absentee ballots until after the polls close. So all that stuff has to then be tabulated and counted. And if there's a lot of write-ins or absentees, that can take for a long time. In Ohio, you guys have the absentee ballots, and as soon as the polls close, that stuff gets fed in, and the absentee vote gets counted pretty quickly.
Correct. So in Ohio, we're allowed to open the absentee, verify everything on the envelope first, that it matches, signature matches, date of birth, all that information matches, and then we open the absentee. We can do that prior to 7:30 on election night. We just can't tabulate the results,
right.
But it is a huge time savings. If we had to do all that from 7:30 on election night, you would not have your results on election night. Absolutely not.
And that would make me so cranky. I mean, crankier than
I've
normal.
heard that rumor.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice thing, Jane. As soon as 7:30 hits, you guys within just a few minutes are posting some early numbers.
And that's correct. The first numbers we release on election night are those absentee ballots by mail and the early in-person numbers. Those are your first unofficial numbers that we release.
And usually it's by 8:15 at the very latest, because we have to report that to the state by that time as well.
Because those hit, and I get excited thinking, man, we're going to get done early tonight. And then Matt and Jane are sitting in their office. They're going, let him wait for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Let him wait. You guys don't do that. At least not to me on purpose.
Hayden told us to. I don't know.
Oh, no. Trust me, nobody wants results quicker than Hayden, because he knows I'm sitting there going, when's that story going to get done? So, hey, Election Day is November 4th, which is still a few weeks away, but we do have an important deadline coming up on October 6th. Guys, what is that deadline, and what do people need to know about October 6th?
So that's correct. That's the deadline to register to vote or update your information. So if you've moved, maybe you got married, and that would be your deadline to get your registration into us. We will be open until 9 o'clock that night. You will have to come around to the back to our main door. You won't be able to come in at the top after 4, but we will have people there till 9 o'clock, and it needs to be in our office by 9 o'clock on the 6th to get that information up to date for the 4th.
You can also update their information or register online. You can go to our website, vote.richlandcountyoh.gov, and get that information.
Yeah, I mean, how many registered voters do we have approximately in Richland County? And I ask that because in a couple of questions from now, I'm going to talk about registered voters. So about how many do we have at this point?
We're a little over 80,000, closing in on 81. We just had a what's called a national change of address. We had a cancellation list of voters who had moved out of state, so that moved our numbers down. We always see an increase, obviously, going into October 6th with people updating and registering.
So if I move to Indiana, I shouldn't be able to send you an absentee ballot request in Ohio.
Correct.
Okay, good. I just wanted to I'm just saying, not that would ever happen if somebody would try to do that.
And it's easy to, I just went to the website you mentioned and looked up my voter registration, and I am still registered. I think they got my party wrong, though.
No, you got your party.
How do I change that to like anarchist or something?
Okay. That's something people ask, and we'll just
question.
Talk about it now.
Yeah.
When you vote in a primary and you request either a Republican ballot or a Democrat ballot, and you can ask for either. I mean, no matter how you voted.
Just not both.
Yeah, you can't ask for both. But no matter how you voted in the last primary, if you say you voted in the Democratic primary 2 years ago, and this year you want to vote in the Republican primary. You can ask for that, and then are you then an officially registered member, whatever that means, of that particular party until the next election cycle?
Correct. So
Okay.
you would be that whether it's a Democrat or Republican ballot, you would be associated with that party, and the only time you could change it would be the next primary. Now, understand that there's a good portion of Richland County that doesn't have a primary in odd year elections.
So you might really get stuck.
So it could be 2 years. If you
Yeah.
live out in the townships, you more than likely will not have a primary in an odd year election. You might have an issues only ballot, but you will not have a primary. So it could be 2 years unless you live in the city, and they have but the city doesn't always have a partisan primary, as you know, too. So anywhere from a year to 2 years, depending on where you live and what's on the ballots.
It gets a little confusing because it is 2 consecutive primaries, not just 2 years. So it gets a little confusing for some voters.
But if I didn't want to be identified as a Republican or a Democrat, I could just always ask for an issues-only ballot, and then it would never say R or D beside my name and all the various and sundry things that apparently brings with it. These
Right.
days.
But then you don't vote in the primary. Like
Right.
you wouldn't vote in a
Right.
primary.
Right.
Okay.
You
Right.
just vote on the issues. You wouldn't get the candidates.
All right. An election obviously can't be done without poll workers. These are the men and women we see at the polls each election cycle who make sure things run smoothly. What is the status of your poll worker numbers? How many do you need? Do you need more? And how can people get involved if they want to participate as a poll worker?
Yes, we always need poll workers. Let me answer that first. No matter what election it is, we always love to have a new set of eyes, new ideas, fresh people out there in the polls. So odd years are harder than even years to staff elections, it seems like. A lot of people ask why. I think a lot of it is because there's not, you don't have all the commercials, all the excitement. Everyone, when president's running, everyone's excited, right?
Well, excited? I don't know.
Well, they're engaged.
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
engaged. Maybe
The
engaged.
commercials are forced upon us.
Right,
Yes.
correct. So it seems like it's easier in the even years, harder in the odd years. We are very lucky. We have a core group of poll workers that come back every year. They are the backbone of democracy. Without them, we wouldn't have the 34 polling locations that we have in Richland County. It takes about 400 poll workers to run an election. We are getting ready to start training on Friday, October 10th, out at the Longview building, upstairs, the upstairs classroom. If anyone's interested, they're more welcome to just come to the training that Friday, or they can just call our office at 419-774-5530, and we can go over there is 3 other dates of training. We have 4 dates altogether that we will be training poll workers. So we love to have new poll workers. Even if you're 17, you can work the polls. And there's a lot of good things if you're 17 because we can write you a letter. You get a day out of school, excused. We still pay you. You can use us for college reference.
Can you write a letter and get me out of work that day?
Carl,
We
I
could.
bet we can.
We could.
You would be a great poll worker.
I would
actually.
know. I would be bad because I'd be angry at everybody.
I think you would.
Oh, you
enjoy
work
it.
for the Ohio
Learn a
Department of
lot.
Transportation? No vote for you.
Now, so poll workers do get paid?
Yes, they,
Okay.
a little
so
bit.
you can be the backbone of democracy and get paid.
Right, right.
That's
You
go
get
sign
paid.
up.
You get paid for your training too, and our training's sort of unique. We just don't sit you down in a classroom. We have you go from station to station and do hands-on training, so that you're a lot more comfortable on your first day going into the polls working.
Now, the only station I could probably be okay at is the one that hands out the stickers. At the Thanks for voting. Thanks for voting. Other than that, I'd probably just get confused by all this stuff.
And we try to be as accommodating as we can be for the training. Like Jane said, you don't even have to tell us when you're coming. We let the workers. We'll do 9 to 6 on Friday, or 9 to 5, as long as you're there 2 hours prior to when we close, because it takes about 2 hours to go through it. You can pick your time. Just come. And like I said, we're also doing the following Wednesday, 9 to 6. That following Saturday, the 18th, from 9 to 2, to catch the people that can't get off through the week. And then we're doing Monday the 20th, from 9 to 6 also. So we have four days. we have been doing a big push to try to get some workers. I think we sent out about 2,000 poll worker flyers probably to some areas where like I might have trouble. I have a lot of trouble up north, Shelby, Plymouth, Butler Township, all of them. So I kind of targeted that area to try to generate some interest, and I did get a few responses already. So that's encouraging.
Now, if somebody signs up and goes through training, and they live in southern Richland County or northern Richland County, can they request, I want to work at this location? I don't want to drive to the other end of the county. How does that work?
We do try and accommodate. If you are willing to travel, you probably moved up to the top of the list because there are a lot, as Matt said, there are a lot of holes we have to fill. We do try to keep people within their area. We cannot guarantee it, though. Right. And other factors come in, too. With this being a local election, some of our poll workers are related to people on the ballot, so then we have to move them. Things like that we have to take into consideration.
And we both have, I have at least 5 people that I kind of hold every election that'll go anywhere for me. Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah. I mean, they'll go from one end of the county to the other and not say a word, and just where do you need me? So,
what's like, walk us through what a day looks like on election day for you guys, like November 4th.
For us,
what time do you get up? What time do you go home? And what happens in the middle?
Well, it's Jane's birthday on November 4th, so happy birthday to her first thing. But.
Yes, great way to start the day.
Generally, the night before the election, we're probably waking up every hour to check the time, and then you have 2 alarm clocks set. And yeah.
You don't get a lot of good sleep the night before.
No, we're up.
We don't get sleep before this podcast either.
We're in the office between 5:15. Our poll workers start arriving about 5:30 in the morning. Some are there even earlier. Polls open at 6:30 for that first hour. It's putting out small little fires or saying, hey, this poll worker didn't show up, and you're calling and waking up somebody, which we do. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the day, it's basically, we have a great team too of rovers, that's called. They go out in the field. There are eyes and ears out in the field on election day, and they're assigned a certain area. So maybe some of them have 4 polling locations, and they're there answering the questions, having extra supplies, anything. And if we need to run something out, we call them, and it goes out there.
Mm-hmm. And then, Jane and myself try to get out to a couple polling locations every election, just because we like to see what's going on in the field, see if there's anything we can improve, and also thank the people that are out working the polls for us. And then kind of from there, we do hospitals. We go vote hospitals on election day. So if someone's in a hospital and they turn in by 3 o'clock, we have at least 1 or 2 teams that'll go out and vote people at the hospital. And then we usually reconvene our board meeting at about 6:30 at night, right before the polls close. So we'll go into our board meeting and stay in session from there. And once the polls close about 7:30, we'll upload the absentee ballots. Those are the first numbers. And then the first polling location gets back usually 8:15 or so.
Who's usually first? Where does it come from?
We always take bets on that. Franklin Township's been right up there. Bob Ball, of course. He runs that one for us. But he has a little help from Amber Cox, who's a rover who goes out and I think does it for him. That's okay. So he's usually one of the top ones. Mid-Ohio, with it being so close to us, they're usually one of the early ones. But we'll take friendly wagers on who's going to be first in the office.
And who's usually last?
The furthest out. Okay. Whether it be Village of Butler or Cass Township, or it's usually a far one out where you're like, that makes sense. It's 25 minutes to get in here.
Half the time's driving.
It takes about anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes just to run all your closing reports and get the memory sticks, secure all the ballots, get any other supplies that need to come back, get them loaded up. So there is a little process from when the polls close to when stuff actually gets back to the Board of Elections. From there, we're verifying what's coming in from the polls. So on election night, we have our board members that actually collect the ballots from the cars. And then they go inside to a room where we have 4 or 5 bipartisan teams that are opening those ballot bags, confirming what's in there. Is it the right number of memory sticks? Are we missing anything? Right number of ballots? And then from there, those come down to the tabulation room on election night, where our Richland County employees tabulate those results. We do not send those anywhere. We tabulate those. And, there's 2 people at a computer, and they're uploading. We have, a team maybe scanning in paper ballots. We have a team or 2 maybe going through the write-in candidates. This election, we'll probably have 3 or 4 teams going through the write-in candidates because there's so many. Yeah. And we do have a lot of comedians in Richland County. And just because you write a funny name, that doesn't get counted. We do see it, and it might get us a laugh, although we've seen most of them by now. We got to go through all them. And then it's usually 10:30, 11, and we usually have our final results out.
Usually.
I was going to say, hold on. So these are all the things, this beast of a day are all things Carl should take into consideration when he thinks he's going to be a comedian by saying, Matt, where is stuff? And he's messaging you while eating his pizza.
Usually Tony Vero's already beat you.
Yeah.
But Tony's at 7:31 wanting to know where the results
are. Well, then I'm going at 7:30.1 just to be ahead.
But it is a long day. And then we usually have to wait to get released by the state.
Matt and I used to have to stay until we get a phone call saying,
so that could be another hour or hour and a half, however long it takes.
I will tell you, one of the, I think it was last year, last November, presidential election year, I was at home still. My phone rang. It was like, I don't know, maybe 7:30 in the morning. I'm not exactly sure what time. And I looked down to see who it was, and it was Matt. So I answered the phone by saying, if the elections board director is calling me at this time of day on election day, this can't be good news. And I think you had a power outage at one of the polling
that was
places.
this last May election.
Last May, okay.
Yeah.
And it was Heartland Church. So, like Jane said, we get in at 5:15 because I want to have everything up and running before I get a phone call. And sure enough, 5:35, I got a phone call from our voting location manager there, and he said, we have no power. And I said, what? He said, yeah, we have no power. And I'm like, well, okay, that's a problem. So, we have... That's one of the things we do in our downtime, as people like to call it. What do you do all year besides those 2 days, right? So that's one of the things we do is every polling location we have a power outage plan of, okay, how are we going to handle it? Where are we placing the generator? Where are we running the extension cords so they're not in the voter's way? So luckily we did that. So we enacted our power out plan. We have contacts with Ohio Edison, so Jane started calling them. I was calling county maintenance. Our county maintenance got a generator out to the location prior to 6:30. Polls were open just like they should have been at 6:30 in the morning. Kudos to Fred Beer, the voting location manager, and all the crew there.
Staff there,
They handled it great. Very professional, and we ran without power till 1 o'clock that afternoon.
They had very ambient lighting. It was very
romantic
voting. Mood lighting.
Romantic,
it was really.
So, we had the generator down there running some stuff. All our voting machines do a battery backup. We were running extra batteries down there just to make sure that we had enough to keep going. And of course, we always have paper ballots at the polling location. So, that's one of the unique kind of exciting things I like is it's not always no election's the same.
Right.
You never know what you're going to get thrown at. You have to keep polling locations up and running. You have to vote. It's not like you can be like, hey, we'll come back and get elected tomorrow. No. It's not how it works.
No.
You have to figure out a way to make it work.
It is. We also partner with other agencies in our county, EMA, the sheriff, as Matt said, the maintenance department, IT too has tremendous help to us also. Engineer, that's true. They all work with us. We usually, during higher turnout elections, we absolutely get everybody together, and we have plans in place for any contingency that can happen. It's just you adapt. You have plan A, B, C, D, and you always try to make things work, which we've been doing. The Heartland was one of our bigger locations too, so it was imperative that we had that up and running on time.
And we hosted that regional meeting here in August, and that's what we did during the regional meeting was we did a couple tabletop exercises of if this happens, how do you handle it? Get you thinking ahead so you can put those plans in place.
We're definitely not the only board that has had unique situations come up.
No.
Right now, it wouldn't be a Newsman Weekly without me going off, at least briefly, on one of my pet peeves, and it's nobody in the room, so everybody can relax. Well, maybe not Hayden, but voter participation in a so-called off-year election. I looked at some numbers over the weekend. In 2023, these are all November elections, 50.4% of Richland County voters cast ballots. And that election had two kind of hot statewide issues, abortion rights and recreational cannabis. But even then, only 50% of the people voted. But that's better than what we saw in 2021 when it was 19.6%, and 2019 when it was 25.7%. Both general elections, and the vast majority of voters just decided to sit it out. The last two presidential elections in 2020 and 2024, both of those were around 73%. So how do we convince voters that electing city council members, village council members, school board members, township trustees, and deciding local tax issues is just as important, if not more important, than picking a damn president?
We try to get out and do some voter education and say this election affects you most directly and probably the quickest, because they are the one making, hey, here's my water bill. It's went up. Why? It's because of the people you put in. The levies, too, we have 25 questions and issues on the ballot this election, which is a lot. And two of them are countywide. So they're renewals, but we're hoping that will bring people out. School issues always bring people out, but again, that's just in a small area. It's just in that school district where the turnout gets higher.
Yeah, like Jane said, we always try to tell people that you're off your elections. It affects your pocketbook. It affects your daily life very quickly. If your roads don't get paved, if they're not plowed, it is amazing how much lower it is. And 23 was an outlier because of those two state issues.
Right.
I was going to ask that. 50% is a huge jump from 25%
Yes.
in 21 and
Absolutely.
19% in or what you said, 19% in 2021 and then 25% in 2019. So is that because of the cannabis issue?
Absolutely,
and
those two issues definitely. And we expected that. That's something that we always look at to try to predict turnout is what's on the ballot. Is it countywide? What percentage is that going to affect? But we always look at 4-year cycles. So, like, for this election, we look back at 21, 17, and 13, and it was 20%, 25%, and I think a 30%. So, we're predicting 20%, maybe if we're lucky, 22 or 23.
Over-under. What's the over-under?
Pretty much.
Obviously, Madison schools, it's going to be a higher turnout. They have a local income tax. That's going to get some interest out there. Ontario has a contested mayor's race. Just unfortunately, it's been that way forever, but it's even more important because the races are that much closer too a lot of times, When I first ran for Ontario City Council, Bobby Shook won by one vote. We called him One Vote Bobby, So does anyone here know what happened? Carl does. Carl, you can't answer. Okay. Do you guys know what happens if a candidate's tie in an election?
Is it the coin flip?
It is. You must have heard that.
Who was it? Because I remember our county's administrator, correct, who also serves on the Ashland County Board of Elections, did the coin flip, right?
Yeah.
I remember that situation.
Yeah.
And it was a two-headed quarter, but don't tell anybody. Sorry, Andrew.
That's
I
great. A
didn't mean to
coin
say
flip?
Yeah.
What, is that like? Does
that
go back to the 1800s or something?
I guess.
Any game of lot. It could be rolling dice. It just
Hey, this
typically
ain't
it's a
the
coin
NFL.
flip.
The game can't end in a damn tie. Somebody's got to win.
Now, if it's an issue that ties, it fails. It has to be majority.
It just baffles me because there was an issue that came up earlier this year at the county commissioner meetings involving solar and wind projects, and you had county commissioners acting on requests from township trustees. And there was a particular meeting, the commissioner's room was filled, and you had all these people who were complaining and upset about the issue that the commissioners were voting on, and they're like, well, who decided this? Well, your township trustees. Folks, township trustees will impact your life as much, if not more, than any other elected office. When your street doesn't get plowed in the winter and you live in a township, who are you going to call?
Right.
You better know your township trustees, because those men and women make decisions in that township level. So, but I was curious when I watched that meeting. They're like, well, who decided this? When do they meet? Here's a thought. Know when your township trustees meet.
Right.
Know what they're doing. Participate in your own government. And by God, get out and vote and maybe even run for office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of township races. I know there was a lot of fervor about this issue, solar and wind. But there's an awful lot of townships with uncontested trustee elections in November, because there's as many people running as there is seats available.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I'm not asking you to participate and comment on that particular topic, but township trustees down at that grassroots level, those folks make a difference.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to move on to my second pet peeve. Whenever I hear people talk about, well, I don't really have time to vote, I'm busy, I work on election day. You know what, people, just shut up. Early voting starts October 7th. You got a damn month in which to cast a vote in the state of Ohio, either in person or absentee. How can people, and I'll let you guys explain, how can people take advantage of a month of early voting, which gives them no damn excuse? Well, I work on election day. I really don't have time to vote.
So you're correct. Early voting starts on October 7th. It's a very long month for us. So yes, you have plenty of time to vote. The first 3 weeks, it's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, besides Columbus Day. We'll be working, but we're not allowed to have people voting on Columbus Day except a federal election. And then that last week, right before the election, we'll be open 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, besides Tuesday the 29th, will be open till 8:30 p.m. because that's the last day that you can request an absentee ballot by mail. And then we're open that last weekend even, Saturday 8 to 4, and then Sunday, November 2nd from 1 to 5. Once 5 comes, that is it for early voting. You cannot come there the Monday before any longer. And please don't come there election day and say that's where you always vote on election day, because that's not where you always vote. You vote at your polling location on election day. But there's definitely ample opportunity to vote. I know Carl's come in early voted a couple times.
I haven't voted on election day since I can't remember when.
I always vote on election day. I like the tradition of voting on election day. Yeah. But I vote. I get out there, and you can get out of work to do it, and school.
Right.
So
right.
I'm always looking for an excuse.
Early vote, you come out to the Longview building, pull around back, you walk in past our office down the hallway, and I guarantee you will not wait in line more than 2 minutes, if that, to get checked in. We're always staffed down there, and you'll be in and out and probably voted in under 5 minutes, as long as you look at your ballot prior to.
Yeah, and there's no reason not to know what you're voting on before you go in.
You can look up your sample ballot very easily on our website and pull up exactly what you're going to be voting on.
And you can actually go ahead and send your application in if you want one by mail now. You don't have to wait until the 7th. We're allowed to start sending them on the 7th.
So wait, I can actually vote and never leave my house?
Yeah.
I can vote from home, basically. It's like working from home, guys.
Yep.
You can do that.
Now, are there any exceptions for people that can vote without having to register?
What do you mean? I'm confused.
So we never turn anyone away from voting. We'll vote you a provisional ballot, and then we'll do the homework to see. You have to be registered in Ohio.
Have to be registered.
Yeah.
Okay. If you move from Franklin County the day before election and you voted in Richland then on election day, we would call Franklin County and say, hey, did he vote? No. Okay. And then your ballot would count. So a provisional ballot's kind of like a fail-safe. So we never turn someone away that shouldn't be turned away.
Right. You're not going to sit there and have a big argument
Correct.
With a screaming match and somebody being denied the right to vote at that moment.
Right.
I mean, it's, okay, we don't know whether you're registered. We don't know if this is right. You go ahead and vote,
Yes.
and then we'll check later.
Yeah.
And that's what our poll workers do. They'll walk them through the provisional process. We get it back. We do the research. We present it to our board. The board decides.
Right. And I've actually been at meetings where provisionals are talked about, and I would recommend the Board of Election meetings are open to the public.
Absolutely.
Yep.
People can
Love
go out
that
and actually
public
watch
participation.
that take place.
And as far as returning that absentee ballot, you can either drop it in our drop box that's at the back of our building, and then. And by the way, that is streaming live come election time. So for anyone's viewing enjoyment, you can always watch that.
So you can watch like birds and
You can watch us come to work every morning if you want. I
That's
mean,
good.
Yeah.
And there is just one drop box.
there is only one drop box.
And
It
it's
is
right
monitored.
outside your back door.
Yep. It is monitored 24/7 by our security cameras and on our website.
And it's double locked.
And it's
And when we go retrieve the ballots,
you'll
the
see two of us
DNA
walk
will
out
go
to get
there.
those ballots every time, guarantee it. And if you're dropping it in a drop box, it has to be there by election night at 7:30.
Right.
Or you can mail it back. But if you're mailing it back, it has to be postmarked the day before the election, which would be the 3rd, and it has to be received by us within 4 days after for it to count. You can also track your absentee ballot on our website to make sure that we've received it back. So if you haven't been to our website, we're pretty proud of the improvements that's on the website in the last couple of years. I think there's a lot of information on there. I would highly recommend you to check it out.
I think since last year we instituted the campaign finance section. I don't know if you guys have looked at that yet.
Yes.
I'm sure Carl has.
Yeah, website is much improved, and we'll put links to that in the show notes so people can go and take a look. There's a wealth of information that you can learn just by going and looking at that. It's a far improvement from the days of 1979, 1980 in Guernsey County, when if you wanted to know who was running for office, you had to go to the Board of Elections and stand there and wait. And if you wanted to watch election night returns, you sat in an outer lobby, and every 45 minutes they would come out to a chalkboard with a piece of chalk and update numbers, and you sat there and in literally a smoke-filled room and watched them updated with chalk on a chalkboard.
Did they have refreshments there too?
You know what? I don't think they did. Come to think of
Just
it,
cigarettes.
just cigarettes and coffee.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's really all I need on election night. Even though I
That's
don't
all you
smoke.
needed in the 70s.
That's exactly. All right. What else do voters and potential voters need to know as we head into this election cycle? Anything we haven't talked about yet that really people should know?
There was a change with the ID law. It has been a couple years ago now, but maybe people aren't aware of it. You have to have a state-issued driver's license or ID, or a U.S. passport, or a U.S. military ID. It has to be one of those four. The days of bringing in your paycheck stub or utility bills, that's no longer. So it has to be one of those four IDs. Also, we have done a couple polling location changes. Of course, Berean is no longer a polling location. That happened prior to the May election. But again, we didn't have a big turnout, so some people might not remember. Berean is no longer a polling location. We moved 4 of those to Apostolic Church, which is on the corner of Middle Belleville and Logan Road. And then we moved the other 3 down to New Liberty Baptist Church, which is on Lexington Avenue. And all those people did receive notices back in March, I believe. And then more recently, we just did another location change. Lincoln Heights in Madison and SC Event Center are no longer polling locations. So SC Event Center had Mansfield 5A, Mansfield 6B. They will be now voting at Eastbrook Center, Ram Booster Bingo Hall, which is on 5th Avenue, 720 5th Avenue, the rear. And then also Lincoln Heights, they had Madison EIO.
EIO. Yes.
So for that location, we took Matt I and moved that to McElroy Church on McElroy Road, corner of McElroy and 430. And then we the reason that we did that is McElroy Church sits in Mad Eye. So I didn't feel I could take those voters somewhere else when they have a polling location within their precinct.
Right.
So McElroy had 2 precincts, Mad A and Mad D. Mad A is staying there with Mad I. So at McElroy, you have AI, right? That's how we remember these things.
Allen Iverson.
And we took Mad D over to the Eastbrook Center Ram Booster Bingo Hall. Because we didn't feel McElroy could handle more than 2 precincts, because Madison precincts are pretty large in size and they vote pretty high percentages. And then the other 2 that were at Lincoln Heights, Mad E and Mad O, they will also be at the Eastbrook Center Ram Booster Bingo Hall. So Ram Booster Bingo Hall will have 5 locations or 5 precincts, Mad D, Mad E, Mad O, Mansfield 5A, and Mansfield 6B. Those voters are being notified as we speak. Actually, the notices should have went out Friday, if not Friday, today, I would say, at the latest. And on the people that we moved to Eastbrook Center, we did it a little different. Normally, we notify you with a postcard. This time, we are notifying with a letter because County Engineer Adam Gove made up an aerial map so people clearly understand where the Eastbrook Center is and the Ram Booster Bingo Hall. So we wanted to include that. We thought that would be helpful for those to head off any potential confusion from where it's at, because of it being Fifth Avenue, it's kind of
tucked back in.
Yeah, it's kind of different.
It
I do think there's a lot of bingo players, so
Yeah.
that should help. But we wanted to try to head off any potential confusion.
Very good. Well, folks, we are going to have to wrap up today's show on that note, and I'm sitting here amazed that Matt can rattle off AIAIO off the top of his head. Many thanks to Matt Finfgeld and Jane Zimmermann from the Richland County Board of Elections for coming in to join us today. Folks, get out and vote. Knock the crap off. Just get out and vote. Participate in your own damn government. That's all I'm going to say. I don't even care how you vote. Vote however the hell you want.
Agreed.
Just
Do
vote.
it. Just do it. And you got a week to register
Yeah.
if you haven't?
Yep. Get out, register, vote, participate. Don't just be a keyboard warrior sitting in your mom and dad's basement in your underwear, eating Cheetos, going on social media and whining.
Yeah, and
Get out and participate.
And if you're listening to this and you've not registered and you do as a result of this, let us know.
Yeah.
Carl will give you a prize.
I will give you a prize, and that prize will be, well, we don't know. We'll come up with one.
It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. Hey, thanks again to everybody for listening to the Newsman Weekly. I'll be back in a second to put a bow on this week's episode, but until then, remember what author Mark Twain once said: if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything.